Good evening from Phnom Penh, and welcome to episode 19 of the Cambodia VR Project podcast. I'm Tom Nickel, and it is Saturday, March 10th. I've been in Cambodia for 2.5 weeks or so now, and by my original schedule, I was going to be going home tomorrow. But I changed that schedule. I extended it for another couple weeks because things were going so well. I was still feeling good. I still am feeling good. A little bit of, I notice my stomach isn't normal, but I am not being run down or debilitated or any of the things that can happen when you make the transition to a new water and new eating and new air, and just how different in every way Phnom Penh is from where I usually live in San Francisco. So far, so good. Another couple weeks I'll be here, and boy, if all the days are like today, I'll be, ready to stay more. But I also like home, and I like some of the things I'll be doing soon with my wife. Some travel we'll be doing together and other things. So, I'll be happy to go home. But boy, I have a pretty full thing going on here, and today was another example. One of the more remarkable people I have met in my Cambodia sojourns is a young Chinese guy named Eric Gu, who it might be one of the brighter guys I've ever met. I've met some pretty intelligent people. I went to a real good college, and I've been around universities a lot, and known some pretty smart guys. I haven't quite been with Eric long enough to make my final decision, but boy, is this guy smart. He is, I guess he's maybe in his late 20s, 30, something like that. And he is able to make a living as, I guess I'd say, an industrial product design consultant, developer, specifically in the realm of AI. Large Fortune 100, Fortune 10 companies hire him as a freelancer on his terms to help them design products with intelligence built into them. He is is obviously a programmer, extremely bright in his grasp of AR and how it works, but as I saw today, and as I'll describe more, quite advanced in his concept of interface design as well. I met him because of the fabulous place I stay here. Not fabulous that it's like some deluxe resort, but fabulous because it's kind of part of Phnom Penh. It's not a normal hotel where, you're in this sealed off from the real world environment. This is really part of Cambodia, and there are local events that happen here, and a way that any guest in YK Art House, that's the name of the place, who wants to meet people who live here, you can do it because they'll come streaming through YK Art House, and I have. I met Eric when I was here in the fall. It actually happened to have been some kind of a networking luncheon going on here, and I didn't even know about it. I walked down from my apartment into the kind of courtyard area here, and there was a bunch of stuff going on, and someone told me it was a networking lunch. I went over and started talking to people. Eric immediately got my attention. He's very poised, calm in his demeanor, but he's smiling and light and happy guy too. Early on, he showed me one of his apps that he had developed in a long weekend, I guess, where he simply points the app on a smartphone at a tattoo on his arm, and an augmented reality animation issues forth from his flesh. It's quite striking. It just stops you right in your tracks, and that was his just idea of a fun little project. Well, in addition to making a good living and learning, I think, at this point in his life now to balance work and play and relaxation and friends and all that kind of stuff, he gives some of his time on a volunteer basis to a school where he's actually teaching VR game development to kids. And that's what I went out to see today. I knew he was doing this. He's actually involved in a number of VR projects right here in Phnom Penh, but this teaching really comes from his heart. And the particular school, it's called the Library School, is a school set up by some wealthy individuals. I think the lead investor is someone who made a lot of money and some trading something, and decided to put some of his wealth into starting a very unique kind of school. It's outside of Phnom Penh, probably 20 minutes south of the city, near the river. And what they do, it's been going for 6 or 7 years now, and they recruit all over the country at all the public schools and whatnot, looking for really bright kids who want to come and live on a residential basis at the school and engage in their learning curriculum. They have their own unique MOU, Memo of Understanding, with the Ministry of Education, unlike any other school in Cambodia, as I understand it, that allows them to kind of deviate from the set Cambodia curriculum, kind of do it their own way, and still, come away with a legitimate, recognized high school diploma from Cambodia. They don't do the sort of typical, here's the curriculum and we're just going to drill it, and, the kind of information transmission school of teaching, which still predominates, I guess I'd say, in most of the world, certainly in a lot of Asia. But this school is way ahead of the curve on that. They are activity learning, problem-based PBL, problem-based learning type of school, where there is certainly drilling in the foundations of knowledge, but right at the earliest ages, I think like half the study time students spend on sort of self-directed, in concert with teachers, projects that they come up with to apply what they've been learning. It's very impressive, and the kids are impressive too. Just walking around the campus there, they're very confident, very well spoken. When I was just sitting there by myself on a little bench at one point, every single kid that went by me would look over at me and say, hi, how you doing? Not this sort of shyness look away. Frequently, a foreigner like me will get from young people in Cambodia. Not here. These kids are something different. And I guess once a week, for a couple hours in the afternoon, Eric has been working now with a self-chosen group of students learning how to build games in VR. So I was just kind of dropping in to observe today. I did more than that. I got to talk ahead of time with the young man, Wasim, who I guess, I don't know, overall facilities support guy, jack of all trades. I'm not quite sure. He's an Australian, maybe of Indian descent, seemed to have a lot of tech smarts, and Eric and he met through a common friend and set up this idea of Eric teaching the class, and it's been going on. They're underway. What I saw when I got there was a class. I guess they were missing some people. People were away doing something. I didn't quite get the story. So there was only 3 or 4 people there today, and I think maybe there's usually twice that many. They had been designing a game where it's a really simple, basic video game concept where you're in some weird alien environment and there's some strange birds flying around and you shoot them. And that's it. But you got to program all that, and not just program it on a TV screen, in a 360-degree world. I mean, when you put on the headset, you are in that world, and you have to program everything about what it looks like, about what these birds are, about how you actually use the hand controller that you have to shoot them, and everything about the interface and any sounds that are made, how you navigate, all that stuff. These kids had to figure out, and I could see Eric has a real touch with kind of laying out options when that needs to be done, but let the kids make the choices. Let them figure out what needs to be done. Let them figure out problems like, if the navigation is going to be by pointing the controller in a certain direction, and then where you point, that's the way you travel. How does the user know that? How do they know how that works? I mean, he's getting them to think of the really sort of deep operational questions. It was just, fun to watch. He gave a mini lesson ahead of time where he spoke actually right on that topic. How do you use elements of psychology, is what it comes down to lead users in a certain direction, if that's what you want to do, to teach them how to do what they're meant to do in this game. The use of light, the use of sound, the use of color and contrast, to lead the eye in certain directions and suggest, maybe even subconsciously that you don't know, this is the direction that you'll head. It was a great lecture. He used a video that he found there, did some speaking of his own, and then went back to the work that the kids had all been doing together and started asking some questions about it and making plans about what steps to do next. So that's what I watched. That was my experience, all in this beautiful, enclosed, nice secure campus where, since I did some recording, I had to read their child protection policy, which I have read policies like this before. Cambodian Living Arts uses one that it says, what I can record, what I can't, how I can use it, how I can't. I'm really glad that they have things like that in place. They didn't seem restrictive to me and overly done. It seemed very well thought out and what should be done. So again, a great secure environment. And so what does all this have to do with me? Well, What this podcast is about is a project, but it's not my project. It's my informal, self-described, self-developed mission to help out an organization here, Cambodian Living Arts, who I just feel great about, start to use some new media technologies in order to touch more people. They do live performance every single night. They have a wide range of other activities that train and mentor and connect and educate artists, help them make a living, help them develop their skills further. But they are not big users of technology. Most of their stuff is live from what I can see. And I think, I've been kind of buzzing in their ear for a while, and I think some other colleagues have been putting that message in. They're really ready to listen now. So on a number of fronts, I have been meeting with some of their partners, trying to decide first steps to be taken and how this process can unfold. And going out to Liegert School today was part of it. And here's how. I think that these kids who want real-world projects and who in particular want them to be about Cambodia with Cambodian content, well, there couldn't be a better partnership than Cambodian Living Arts. I envision that there's going to be a real demand for local Cambodia VR content. And the first way to start doing that is 360 video, which I've been doing. I think that there's going to be installations all around Phnom Penh. I know there is. And I think that there will be other opportunities within VR itself, galleries in social VR spaces to put art and VR representations of the work that Cambodia Living Arts does, and art and culture in Cambodia in general. Well, Cambodian Living Arts can produce a lot of that material, from the reality part, but they're going to need people to convert it into the virtual part and make the 360 videos and produce them and get them into these galleries and make them work inside of headsets and installations. Well, I think the kids could be part of that bridge. I imagine in the fairly near future that team of people and maybe at Cambodian Living Arts and then a couple people at Liegert School can come up with a kind of a mini project that the kids would be able to work on. Cambodian Living Arts would supply the content, and maybe the role of the kids here would be to do two things. Would be to make VR versions of the content that would, again, play in headsets, in installations that are being planned for Phnom Penh right now, as well as in galleries in social VR spaces. That's what I see. And I said that to Wasim today. I said, this is what I'm hoping to happen. And he goes, we would love that. I mean, that's what we're here to make happen. So it seems like a great possibility. Going out there today, starting to see the place, meet Wasim. Next step up, I'll meet the people, above Wasim and start making the connections to Cambodian Living Arts. But I feel like a new and really fertile connection is underway now. So I was feeling pretty good. I came back. I'd had a driver that I've used for longer drives before, Tola. He waited out there while I did all my observing, and it drove me back, and here I am. That was the major project activity of the day. Sunday's my favorite day. That's tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to my Sunday book discussion group, as well as my language learning group. So Monday also scheduled to go out on the Khmer Magic Music Bus. So, I've had a good sequence of full days with activities related to the project. I'm kind of looking forward to Tuesday, where I can sit back and rest a little bit too. So on that happy note, once again, I am signing off from Phnom Penh. This is Tom Nickel, concluding episode 19 of the Cambodia VR Project podcast. Bye for now.